Good evening and thank you for joining us. Tomorrow's City Council will discuss the proposed 2025 capital budget. Coming with it, a $60 million increase over last year. The jump is largely due to the indoor turf facility. There's $32 million budgeted for the facility next year, which is about 75% of the total cost. While there's a significant increase proposed in 2025, around 80% of the $161 million capital budget focuses on renewal, with the remaining 20% made up of new projects. At-large Councillor Mark Benz chairs the budget process and talks about the high costs related to renewal.
It's an epidemic that has plagued Western, or at least North America anyways. We built stuff and we didn't put money aside to keep it in good shape. That's essentially what's happened over the decades. And that's been happening since probably the 1950s when the building boom began after the Second World War. We built an awful lot of infrastructure and we did not put money away to take care of it.
Around $48 million of the capital budget is covered by grants. $35.5 million is covered through debentures, while another $55 million will be drawn from the city's reserve fund. November is National Diabetes Month. To mark the occasion, the Mattawa Health Cooperative has joined forces with the St. Joseph's Foundation to host a fundraising walk. The walk raised awareness and funds to support people living with diabetes and to help reduce the number of amputations because of the disease. Emma Chilton has this story.
Stepping Out for Foot Health is the first inaugural fundraising walk hosted by Mattawa Health Cooperative and St. Joseph's Foundation at the Intercity Shopping Centre. Many participants gathered to walk and raise awareness about diabetes-related foot issues, highlighting the importance of good foot health in preventing amputations. Gail Brescia, president of St. Joseph's Foundation, says given the community's need for support for people with diabetes, they hope to make the walk an annual event, aiming to raise at least $50,000 each year to support diabetes care, foot health, and those affected by amputations.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to keeping this going well into the future because there's such a need in Northwestern Ontario and our community throughout. Last year we gave away almost 700 pairs of shoes for people who needed appropriate footwear that couldn't afford them or didn't have the access. So we really are valuing the opportunity to promote the activity as well as raise the funds that we need to buy more shoes.
Statistics indicate that Indigenous people experience an amputation rate 7 times higher than the provincial average, and research suggests that 85% of diabetes-related amputations can be preventable with proper foot health care. Kwiatkowski explains that providing quality shoes to people in need due to diabetes created a valuable opportunity to educate them on the importance of foot health.
The shoes that I gave out to clients, it was a really teaching opportunity as well because I was able to teach them about the importance of shoes, showing them, how to properly fit your shoes, that they should be wider shoes. This is way too big, right? And we were able to talk about the importance of orthotics in shoes as well, which, for people who have wounds, there might be a temporary shoe that they wear, but the transition into is orthotics, right? So custom footwear that'll sort of redistribute pressure. So that's kind of what we want. So we can use these shoes as sort of a teaching opportunity, get them into wherever it's Stride, it's Thunder Bay Orthopedics, or wherever sort of organization that they go to, they can go to that for to get their custom orthotics.
The community and participating organizations are paving the way for a future with fewer preventable amputations, and together they are stepping forward for a healthier future. Emma Chilton, TBT News.
Grief is a universal experience, and Hospice Northwest has a unique and comforting way for individuals to express their feelings at their facility. Hospice Northwest presented the 3rd annual Personal Lens on Grief exhibition, showcasing photos and stories that illuminate the personal journeys of grief and bereavement. At times, it can be challenging to express the need for help and to articulate one's feelings. Sophie Kahn says that the exhibit offers individuals a different way to communicate these emotions.
I think we don't talk about grief, and socially it's not acceptable to share we're struggling and to share that we need help. And so this exhibit, it gives people a different way of expressing that, and sometimes it's the first way they feel comfortable, even saying they're going through grief or they're struggling. and need that support. So this is really meaningful to all of the staff who also contributed submissions, and to myself as well, who also I submitted myself. So I think that, yeah, reflecting on our lost experiences and where we are today can really help people in their healing journey when it comes to grief and bereavement.
So we have 19 participants this year, and every year the expectation is everybody puts one picture in, but sometimes we get a couple of submissions from each person, but obviously enough to fill this hallway, which has been wonderful. And again, like I say, the stories that go along with the picture really resonates with everyone that comes along and has the opportunity to see them.
The exhibit will be on display for the month of November and encourages people to share their experience and start a conversation about grief to let others know they're not alone. The public is invited to stop by to view the exhibition during office hours Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Reflection rooms will be available for individuals viewing the exhibition, offering a quiet space to pause and reflect. Camview Nordic Centre plans to remove about 50 acres of balsam fir trees this fall, after a large number of them were found to be infested with spruce budworms. The bug has the ability to decimate trees, leaving them as standing dead timber, making them a huge wildfire risk and even a potential hazard for cross-country skiers. Jessica Clement has the details.
After noticing the potential threat over the summer of a bug called the spruce budworm, Camview Nordic Centre will soon be cutting down hundreds of balsam fir trees as a way to get ahead of a potential outbreak.
Spruce budworm, it's a bit of a misnomer. They prefer balsam fir. So here on the property, there's areas that are quite dense with balsam fir. The budworm feeds on the foliage, and given enough time, they will kill the trees. And if you have added stress, like a droughty year, like we did this summer, that puts extra stress on the trees as well.
Camview Board Chair Ross Johnston says throughout their 600-acre property, it's just the balsam fir they have to worry about, but notes that there are a few areas that are completely made up of those trees. He says they've already had trees starting to fall down and adds that they're also worried about the wildfire risks.
The risk or the threat with dead balsam fir is fire. And so we're adjacent to Mount Forest. I know the MNR operates, they have 2 water bombers, but we don't even want to go there. So I don't want this to happen.
Johnston expects the process to take about 3 weeks. After removing the affected trees, Camview will be replacing them next spring with species that are less vulnerable to the budworm.
Quite diverse species as well. So range from yellow birch, white birch, sugar maple, red maple, black spruce, jack pine, just a real mixture.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Westgate High School's technology department has received a donation of an accessible van from the estate of the former teacher Brian McDonald, who passed away this summer. McDonald's colleagues gathered at the school this past week to witness one final act of his generosity. McDonald's accessible van is still in great condition, and now students enrolled in the High Skills Specialist Transportation Program at Westgate can use it for a hands-on opportunity to learn in detail about automotive maintenance. Chair of Technology at Westgate, Blaine Hill, says it's been many years since they've had a vehicle at this level donated to the school.
Just a great opportunity for our students at Westgate. The van is in wonderful shape. We're going to have a lot of learning on it. There is a hydraulic handicap lift on the back of the van, so the students will be able to learn how that operates and maintain that.
Brian retired in 2000, and I've been friends with him for almost 40 years. Unfortunately, he just passed away this past August after a long time in the hospital. It was decided that we would donate it to the school because Brian was a longtime scrounger, and he was always looking for opportunities for the kids to work on things that they normally wouldn't have been able to do.
Dubic adds donating the van for these students to learn on was the most appropriate course of action, as McDonald spent the majority of his teaching career at Westgate. After a 2-month maintenance shutdown, the indoor pool inside the C.J. Sanders Fieldhouse at Lakehead University has been reopened for student and community use. The pool undergoes annual maintenance near the end of August every year in order to properly serve the numerous user groups and other programming throughout the school year. LU Athletics Director Tom Warden says safety is essential, and as the pool has been open since the late 60s, maintaining the older equipment has become more of a challenge.
It was closed a little bit longer this year just because we had a little bit more detailed maintenance. So it's very important to keep up with maintenance for safety and to make sure that we're adhering all the codes we must. And so we're pretty happy. I know that our physical plant and all their partners did a very good job in ensuring that we're up and running. So we're super excited to welcome our community back and welcome our student body back. I know there's a lot of user groups that are waiting patiently.
For anyone interested in using the pool, more information can be found on the Lakehead Athletics website.